Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is September 13th, and right now we're looking at the visible satellite imagery. This is where we are right now, and you can see that marine layer into Southern California. There's some sunny skies out across some portions of the central coastal areas here. And let me turn on my little green circle, and you can see up across Northern California some of that marine layer as well. So let's scroll backwards into the overnight hours. You can still see the hot spot out there from some of the fires across the higher terrain of Southern California. Still producing some smoke, not quite as bad as what it was a couple days ago. And if we scroll in towards yesterday, again, you can see some of that smoke production, but definitely not on the scale that it has been producing. You have to watch this carefully. They can flare back up again, however, and then you can see where we are right now. So we're going to take a look at what is coming here, because we have some trough that's going to be rolling in here. It's really going to drop the temperatures across much of the region as well, and even some precipitation, even for Southern California, with some of these systems here. And I mean, even if it's a small amount, it's noteworthy. It just kind of marks that fall transition that we're going through. But we do have the potential for some snow across the higher terrains of Sierra Nevada as well. So take a look here. You can check this out on calfire.gov. It tells you all the names of the fires out here, how many acres are burned, and what the containment is. If I update that here, you can see the line fire is at 21%. The bridge fire is contained at 3% right now. Park fire, for example, is contained at 99%. So if we take a look at the vertically integrated smoke, I'm going to put this into motion. You can see we do have that smoke waffling and drifting around. It does show some smoke flare up here as we go through the afternoon hours today and on in through tonight, producing a bit more smoke. And that looks like it's mostly drifting northward across some of the southern Sierra Nevada and up on in towards portions of Nevada. And as we go through, again, this is a Saturday afternoon. Again, it flares up a bit here on the high resolution rapid refresh that goes out about 48 hours. So taking a look at max temperatures, look at this for Sacramento, 91 dropping down towards 72 on Monday, and then, you know, the slow warm up after that. But we're definitely going to be dropping these temperatures off, and you're going to feel that across much of the state, virtually everywhere, and especially across some of the back country here. And same thing with Stockton, California, there 90 versus 72 on Monday. And if we look at Hanford National Weather Service, starting to get on the action here for Tioga Pass, like 72% chance of seeing 1 inch of snowfall or more. Lake Thomas Edison, for example, a 1 in 4 chance. But yeah, the models are showing that snowfall. I'll show you that here in a moment as well. And let's just get right into that, because you can see the European here as we go on in towards Monday morning is when that snow starts to fly across the Sierra Nevada, shown there. And look at that Monday late morning, afternoon. So there's the first shot of it. And then we've got another chance as well as we go on in through Tuesday night into Wednesday morning with the second additional troughing kind of reinforcing down the west coast of North America. We could get some more higher terrain snowfall with that also. Not seeing anything show up across the Southern California mountain areas, but you can see that outside of Las Vegas there even shows a little bit of snowfall there. So fun stuff there. We'll be looking at that trough here as we go into more detail here in a minute. Let's take a look at what the GFS says. Does it show anything? What kind of model agreement do we have with that? Let's go on in through Monday. Here we go to Monday morning. There we go. Let's start to show that snowfall there. And then as we go on into Tuesday night and Wednesday morning, does it show the next shot? It does. So pretty good model agreement there on maybe a 1-2 punch of some upper elevation snowfall. And the entire state is going to feel this cool down as well. We'll go over some of those temperatures here in a moment. But looking at 5,000 feet, this kind of shows you what's going on here. And again, some fairly warm temperatures at 5,000 feet across virtually the entire state, and especially across the southwest portion of the USA, the deserts, Las Vegas, Phoenix area, for example. And then we start to scroll off in towards this weekend. You see out of the north and west, look at this cooler air starting to arrive here. This is Saturday afternoon. Tomorrow you can see it impinging on the northwest California coastline there, and then you can see the swoop down and start to engulf much of the southwest USA and virtually the entire state of California with that chillier air aloft as we go on in through Monday afternoon. So big welcome relief here from some of the heat for a while, but stick with me as we go through the end of the video. I'm going to show you the extended forecast, because we're starting to get some ominous signs there as we go through the end of the month also. But first, taking a look at that trough that's coming up here. This is the first shot of it here, moving down across the state of California. A little bit moisture starved here, but it will bring some precipitation for some areas. I'll show you that here in a moment also. Then we get the reinforcement of the trough there. There's that second punch that could bring some higher elevation snow as well. And then we'll go into extended forecast towards the end of the video. We also have Tropical Storm Elena out here and is right off of Cabo, and this could move across the Gulf of California. Some gusty winds with that. There are tropical storm warnings in effect for portions of Baja here, and there's tropical storm watches up for the Mexico coastline as well. And this may bring a surge of moisture into some of Arizona, maybe extreme southeastern California, but it's going to be quickly kicked off to the east as the troughing that I just showed you moves down across the west coast. And I'll show you that example here now. There's Elena. You can see that tropical moisture surge there moving up across the Gulf of California. And you can see that moisture surge into Arizona and right towards the California-Arizona border a bit, but then the trough comes and really just shunts that off to the east. Shouldn't be that big of a deal for much of the region. Now looking at 2-meter temperature anomaly, I'm going to put this into motion, and you can see right now kind of a mixed bag across California. And then as we scroll on in towards what this is Saturday, Sunday, we're scrolling in here, and then we start to go into the early portion of next week. Look at that. Much of the state below average. This is at the surface here too, so you're dealing with some pretty chilly temperatures, relatively speaking, out there. I mean, look at this. Even across Arizona, some of the desert areas, Las Vegas, you are going to be feeling this cool down here, as well as the entire state of California. So welcome relief on that front. Taking a look at what kind of precipitation this may bring. Let's put this into motion. Again, Monday morning, you can see it, potential snow for some of the Sierra Nevada. But look at this. It even rings some precipitation out across Southern California. A little shot of mid-latitude cyclone precipitation here. This is not monsoon moisture. So it's kind of a sign of that fall transition. And then we go on in through Wednesday as well. Another round of precipitation. We'll see how much that shows in future model runs. It'll be interesting to see what the high resolution models show when they get in range as well. Total precipitation on the GFS. Let's scroll through this really quick. There goes shot number 1 right here as we go on through the day Monday, and then we go on in through the second shot. It does show a little bit of precipitation on the GFS as well. That's the American model. Even some of the Central Coast get some precipitation, as well as some of the Central Valley, the I-5 corridor, the Sacramento, San Joaquin Valley might be getting some precipitation out of this as well. So kind of a nice signal there. If we look at the European total precipitation in inches, also, let's just run through this really quick. There's Monday and then the Tuesday shot there. So let's go back to that. Just kind of freeze it. You can see maybe a little for Southern California. 6 to 10 day temperature outlook below normal here for a lot of the West Coast. Makes sense with the troughing we saw, right? And then above average signal here for some of the state of California. If we take a look at the extended forecast now, we got the European Artificial Intelligence on the left versus the GFS on the right. And we've got something interesting showing in the extended as well. So here goes our initial system. This can bring much cooler conditions across much of California and the Southwest USA. Reinforced here as we go in through Tuesday and Wednesday. And then we kick that system out, and look what starts to build out over the Pacific Ocean, the west coast of North America. Fairly substantial ridge starting to show in some of the model runs here. You can see this would start to really warm us up. And the European and the GFS both have some semblance of a ridge, just different locations. But this would definitely bring some warmer conditions potentially to the west coast of North America. It's just late September. You still can warm up pretty dramatically across the state of California, especially if you start to get any kind of offshore wind component, as you guys know if you've lived here for any length of time. So if we take a look at that, this is mean sea level pressure. There's that very weak tropical system. I mean, I shouldn't call it weak. It is a tropical storm, but it's down here. And then we just kind of look out into the future. We got the Pacific high kind of dominating our weather. But as we move on to the extended forecast, what we watch for is this ridge as it takes position here near the west coast of North America. How strong is this high going to be, and how close to the Great Basin will this be? What kind of gradient will we get? How strong will the offshore flow be when this high pressure moves over the Great Basin? Those are all really good questions to see if we're going to start moving into that time frame where we get some Santa Ana wind. September is that month where we get these thermal troughs moving up the coastline, and we get some high pressure over the interior that can drive some of those offshore winds. It's still way out there in the future. It's not worth getting caught up with just yet, but we will be watching that and see if we get some trending with the models. Now, looking at daily 2-meter max temperature, you can see you got hundreds across Arizona and the desert areas and a lot of 90s in the valleys. But look at this as we go through Saturday and then Sunday. Look at the cool down coming. And then Monday. I mean, talking about Arizona barely getting into the 90s here. I mean, Death Valley probably topping out just over 100 degrees. So if you know somebody across, Phoenix and Arizona, the desert areas, you can buy them a wool hat or something. Make sure they have their jackets on, their long underwear, because it's going to be, relatively speaking, pretty chilly out there. Obviously, I'm joking. But yeah, you can see the cool down even for a lot of the areas across the Southwest. So we go into Wednesday, the following week. Thursday, Friday, we start to slowly warm things up there. And then, as you saw, we might be dealing with some ridging off in the extended forecast as well. But we'll worry about that as we go. I showed this yesterday as well. You can see the drought monitor. This is the current one on the left. This is the old one 2 weeks ago on the right. They did add a little bit of moderate drought for some of the desert areas. But yeah, anyway, we will do this all again tomorrow. I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. Click like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys then.